Monterey Car Week is one of the most anticipated automobile events in Monterey County, California every year. Whether you're a classic car enthusiast or sports car fanatic, there is no better series of events around than Monterey Car Week. Like swallows returning to Capistrano or gray whales gunning it up to Baja, automotive cognoscenti the world over migrate en masse each year to Northern California's Monterey County in August. They have been answering the innate call since the first Pebble Beach road race circa 1950. Although the latter was short-lived, the accompanying concourse grew exponentially over the decades, becoming the driving force behind numerous ancillary events from classic tours to historics racing to automobile auctions. Soon, each iteration became the temporary epicenter of car culture. The multi-day exhibition now exerts an unparalleled influence on the industry, evidenced by the fact that most high-profile automakers use it to showcase new concepts and production models. It's also a time to strengthen the bonds of an already tight-knit community, one that's seeing its landscape shift like never before. Now that the last of the confetti has fallen, here's what we'll remember from Monterey Car Week 2022. But before we get into what that week entails, just a reminder that we have a bonus fact for you towards the end of the video. Number 1. Motorlux. Formerly Macau's Motorworks revival, Motorlux is commonly viewed as the start of Monterey Car Week. On August 17, the Monterey Jet Center once again played host to the aviation and automobile fete that has been known as Macau's Motorworks revival for the last 3 decades. For 2022, however, the expo debuted as Motorlux with its new owner, Haggerty, at the helm. Judging by the size of both the exhibition and the crowd, the transition seems to have rolled along as smooth as a Mercedes Maybach on butter. Approximately 3,000 guests filled the event space over about 6 hours, gazing at more than 150 exotic automobiles, 10 airplanes, and 3 helicopters while gazing on cuisine from numerous top chefs in the area. Complementing the culinary spread was an array of spirits as well as wine from 10 surrounding vintners. One of the most dominating displays was Philip Seraphim's 1951 Grumman HU16B, a stunning reminder of the golden age of aviation. A fortunate few were allowed to tour the interior, which presents an aesthetic more akin to that of a superyacht in fit and finish. The periphery of the aircraft was accented by several Myers-Max dune buggies, both original examples and the new one Seraphim developed with designer Freeman Thomas after taking ownership of the name. Also elevating the experience was a 2022 Cirrus SF-50 Vision Jet and examples of Bell's 407 and 505 helicopters, among other top-tier flying machines. Number 2. The Quail, a motorsports gathering. Car enthusiasts converge on the show lawn at the Quail Lodge and Golf Club. Tom O'Neill, courtesy of Rolex, on August 19, top-tier automobile manufacturers and collectors converged on Northern California's Carmel Valley for their annual version of show and tell known as the Quail, a motorsports gathering. And just as with classmates competing to impress their peers, the game of one-upmanship seems to escalate every year. The 2022 edition of the Combination Concours and Exposition, held at the Quail Lodge and Golf Club, served as the platform for 19 model premieres as well as a competition that saw more than 200 classics, supercars, and exotic judged for the title of Best of Show, an honor that went to a 1956 Jaguar D-Type. Fitting for summer, reveals of new open-air models seemed to make the most impact. Maserati presented its 621 HP MC20 Cielo Spider. Bugatti displayed its 1600 HP W16 Mistral, inspired by the 1934 Bugatti Type 57 Roadster Grand Raid, and Hennessy showcased the new 1817 HP convertible version of its Venom F5. Number 3. Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion. Every year, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca becomes the racing world's equivalent to the ballpark and Field of Dreams. A near-mythic testing ground where bygone-era race cars come back to compete as part of the Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion. Held from August 17 through 20 this time around, the 4-day racing retrospective commemorated the 100th anniversary of the 24-Hour of Le Mans, the world's most renowned automotive endurance contest. As seemed only appropriate, the Grand Marshal was none other than Tom Christensen, the winningest driver at Le Mans with 9 overall victories. Among the machines on hand that had won at France's France's fabled circuit, De La Sarthe was Christensen's own 2005 Audi R8 LMP1, accompanied by the likes of the first-place finishers such as the 1964 Ferrari 250 LM and the 1966 Ford GT40. In between the various waves of qualifying sessions and competitions, VIP attendees and guests were given hot laps by pro drivers or, in some cases, even invited to drive behind Christensen himself while tracing the best line through the infamous corkscrew and the rest of the more than 2.2-mile track. Now that's one for the ages. Number 4. The Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. Every renowned golf venue in the world has its vaunted traditions. Augusta with the Masters, St. Andrews, and the British Open, but Pebble Beach, the top-ranked and revered public course in the United States, its legacy is equally tied to a very different game. Near the end of the summer each year, among the most avid car collectors and restorers in the world drive for show, positioning themselves on the final fairways as part of the storied Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, an automotive contest that played through beautifully again on August 21. By day's end, the confetti fell on a stunning 1932 Duesenberg J. Figoni sports torpedo owned by Lee R. Anderson Sr. of Naples, Florida. But a lot transpired before that much-anticipated moment. This year, the field comprised more than 200 cars divided into 28 classes that ranged from antique to American and European classics to several mark-specific and commemorative categories. The latter featured tributes to the 100th anniversary of Lincoln, as well as that of the 24-hour of Le Mans. Yet it wasn't just the classics that garnered attention. As per usual, the concept lawn in front of the lodge was barely visible due to the crush of photographers and admirers trying to get eyes on the latest dream machines. Number 5. Most expensive cars sold at the 2022 Monterey auctions. This year, during Northern California's roughly 7-day automotive maelstrom, 5 primary auction houses, RM Sotheby's, Gooding & Company, Bonhams, McComb, and Broad Arrow were, together, responsible for approximately $463 million in total sales, according to collector market aggregator Classic.com. This year's Monterey auctions were eagerly anticipated as a barometer of the state of the industry, particularly concerning the impact from a potential recession, higher interest rates, war in Ukraine, and post-COVID behavioral shifts, says Juan Diego Calle, car collector and co-founder of Classic.com. During Monterey, it seemed as if all of those were non-issues. It was business as usual, booming. The 5 that fetched top dollar this year at public auction were all from the last century, the most recently built in 1957, and all from the storied marks you would expect. Also, no surprise is that they came from auction houses from the likes of Gooding & Company and RM Sotheby's, the latter responsible for not just the highest seller, but 4 out of the 5. Who knows, one or more of these may be rolling onto the final fairway at Pebble Beach to compete for Best of Show when Monterey Car Week gears up again next August. Thank you for staying with us throughout the video. Here's a bonus fact as a token of our appreciation. The Concours d'Elegance is an automotive charitable event which is held each year on the Pebble Beach Golf Links in Pebble Beach, California, is widely considered the pinnacle event of its kind and one of the most prestigious car events in the world. Have you ever been to any of the events we just mentioned? Comment down below and let us know what your favorite part of the Monterey Car Week is. If you enjoyed the content, uplift the channel by hitting like, subscribe, and ring the YouTube bell to meet us again in the next video. Until next time.